I'm Justin. This is part of my story.
We're the Dawsons, and this is our story.
Hi, my name is Melina, and this is my story.
When I first got to Eastern New Mexico University, last spring semester of 2023, I met Dag on campus, and that kind of snowballed into a lot of different things. And that's when I kind of started to realize that, because I always recognized that God had a plan, but I started to recognize that maybe that plan could involve something with my life.
When I fully understood God's plan for my life was honestly after I met Derek. There were so many people before him that were kind of guiding me even before I really found Christ. But I found Christ, and then I found him, and he's just really guided me and helped me become closer to God.
I recognized God's plan for my life fairly recently. I didn't grow up in the church, so I wasn't really surrounded by the word. It wasn't really talked about a lot because at home there were two different kind of sets of beliefs, so we kind of didn't really talk about God or Jesus because there were the differences in beliefs, so it would have caused arguments. And for a long time, I was kind of running because I was upset and angry. But whenever I met my fiance, Caden, I started coming to church with him and just being surrounded with such amazing people and feeling God's love. I just recognize that there's no other way. He is the capital W way, and everything else is going to fail me whenever he doesn't.
I started to realize problem with sin in my life. I've always felt there's like an emptiness. There's something that was just off, something was wrong. But it wasn't really until I started going to the CR program that I could recognize that what I was doing, some of the things I was doing, some of the things I was feeling, and all of that made that emptiness happen. It wasn't until then that I could recognize that as actual sin.
I first realized when I laid eyes on my daughter. I didn't really think I was bad, but when I looked at her, I knew I needed to be better. And I started to recognize all the sin in my life and how I wanted to change it. I wanted to be a good living example of Jesus Christ and not an example of how not to be.
I realized the problem of sin in my life when, even whenever I was trying to do my best, it would kind of creep back in slowly. And even whenever I was trying to be better, whenever I wasn't doing it with Jesus, it just came back continually. And I'm not perfect, and I'm probably going to sin more times than I know right now again. But I think that the important thing is that I'm just letting Jesus have control instead of me.
I'd always heard the gospel, and growing up I'd heard the gospel and the good news, but I didn't respond to the gospel until I started going to CR, and I heard the testimonies, and I saw the impact of the life of Jesus Christ in people firsthand.
I think I'm still responding to the good news of Jesus. It doesn't stop. I can't really pinpoint when it happened, but I'm still responding. There's verses that I heard 2 years ago that I didn't really connect with, and now I hear them again and I connect with them. So it's like a living word.
I can't pinpoint one specific time that I've definitely responded to the gospel. It seems like it was always here and there. One time whenever I was really young, I remember I was a weird kid a little bit. So I remember going into my closet with like a little lamp and having like this comforter in there and just sitting down. And there was this book we had about Jesus and I was reading it. And I just remember just being filled with such a lightness and such a peace and coming out of my closet and just like wanting to share that feeling with my sisters. And then there's other times whenever I'm just talking with friends and we're talking about the gospel, and it's like that same feeling just comes over me. And so maybe the first time was whenever I was a little kid, but I think the most important times have been as an adult, because now I have the ability to actually purposefully devote my life to Jesus.
So it's kind of a strung together bit of connections. I met Dag on campus at Eastern New Mexico University. And he brought me to the Celebrate Recovery program, and then I got involved in that. And then eventually I kind of got more involved with the Christian Challenge on campus. And that's where I met a couple of people, Carson, Stephen and Allison, and just Abby, and a lot of different of the kids there at the campus. So then eventually I got invited to come to church. And then when I started coming to church, I just didn't really stop.
Well, I guess the physical first connection was I was working on our house. When I moved here, I locked myself out, and Larry came to rescue me and let me back in, and then invited me to come visit. This was before they moved here. I had to move here first, and then they came afterwards. And I just fell in love with the people. The people here are just fantastic. And I was so excited about it. I couldn't wait to tell Audrey and have her come. And she immediately fell in love with the church family.
He called me that night and was like, "You won't believe what happened." I was like, "You locked yourself out of the house?" Because it's completely uncharacteristic of him. But God's good work was in that moment. And yeah, we're so happy to be here.
Today, Stephen will be baptizing me. We went to the same elementary school. We ran into each other, I'm sure of it. But yeah, he was a complete stranger at that point. And then we got into the Christian Challenge, and finally we just met at Fall Retreat and we made that connection. And we've built a lot of ties since. And he's helped to show me a lot of things spiritually. He's helped me. He's helped me build my faith. Him and his wife both. Stephen and Allison, they're amazing couple. But yeah, they've helped me so much. They've softened my heart a lot.
Kenzie will be baptizing me. And honestly, the reason why Kenzie will be baptizing me is because, yes, I was coming to church. And yes, it felt great in the moment. She's one of the ones that really made my relationship with Jesus flourish. And it's been fairly recently. We stayed up really late recently one night talking about Jesus, and I did not think I was ready because I felt like I had to be perfect in order to devote my life to Jesus. And she just kind of reminded me, I don't have to be perfect because I'm not perfect and I never will be, but that does not mean that I'm undeserving of his love, and I'm very thankful for that.
I feel very honored that my husband is baptizing me because he is the leader of our family and he leads our family as Christ intended. And so when I stray, he will always bring me back to intentionally living as Jesus Christ did.
Dustin, and this is my story. Yeah, because I love him and he's the best God I ever had. By being kind, loving, and respectful, and when my family and friends fall, I help them back up and say, "Are you okay?" Mommy, because she's helping me learn the way of Christ did, because Christ is the best thing in all my heart, and Mommy is too, all my family and all my church family, and my friends.
I've seen a lot of growth at First Baptist, even in the short period of time that I've been here. Just seeing the change in the way some people act has been pretty good. A lot of churches, it seems to be like it's just a social club. It's kind of more of where the important people in the town gather. That's the important person church. This is the unimportant person church. And at FBC, I've been able to see people in the CR program that come to church. I can walk in and be greeted by somebody. I can walk in with somebody else that doesn't look like they should be there, you know, and like the terminology of some people, but then they get greeted the same.
Just the people that I have met here are like the fellowship I'm experiencing with people. It's keeping me coming to church.
Honestly, the best fellowship I've ever experienced. And I've been going to church for a few years, but so easily to get connected and just genuine, genuine is the word I would use.